Rediscover Your Stash hop that we are doing today. The Rediscover Your Stash group is a kind of product feature focus group. Monthly, there's a different product, or sometimes it's a technique, but it's based on using up your stash. So a lot of times it's a product that you kind of focus on for the month and go through your stash, hopefully, and get that product used up. There's also some spending freezes throughout the year that are a lot of fun to participate in. Lots of encouragement to make sure you make it through that month without spending any money. So lots of fun. The link is down below, and we're going to be doing some hops going forward, which is definitely great because it's an opportunity to share some tips and some tricks and advice on getting your stash used up. We'll do whatever the feature of the month is. And so, definitely check out all of the links down below for everybody who's participating. It won't always be the same people every single month. You might see some people hopping in here and there. So it's definitely worth going through all of the links because you're going to probably find some new person that you maybe haven't seen before to follow and enjoy, and definitely lots of your favorite people also joining in. So take a look at those links. The group link is also down there if you want to check out the group. And what else? Oh yes, you're also going to find links to Shotz, some of my products that I'm using that you can see right here. This iris container is filled with all of my Shotz design team products. So I've got the Sunshine on My Mind collection from Pink Fresh Studio and the Simple Stories, the Little Things collection in here. So I'm going to be using a few bits and pieces from both of those today. And I'm also working with Scraptember. So I'm going to use 2 prompts today. I haven't been able to create layouts for every day and every prompt. And so I decided, because I don't want to miss out on any of the prompts, I'm just going to combine them. So my layout today is going to be using day 16's prompt, which is paper tearing, and today's prompt, day 17, which is something new. So that brings me to our theme for this month, which, works out great. The theme is combining new and old. So combining your old stash with some new stuff that you might have brought into your stash more recently. How can you combine them and kind of get the biggest bang for your buck out of all of your stuff, which I think is a great theme because sometimes we get new stuff and we're just so excited to use it that we forget about all the really great old stuff that we have. And to be honest with you, I would have to say that this is definitely within my comfort zone, and it's something I do on almost every single layout that I create. I don't tend to purchase entire collections. It's just hard to get them here in Canada without spending crazy amounts of money. So very rarely will I get a whole paper collection with all the ephemera, all the little bits and bobs and things that come with it. It just never happens. Usually I either gravitate towards the papers in a collection or the ephemera, or sometimes I might just really want a certain piece of paper and then maybe get one piece of ephemera to go with it, just so I have something that goes with it. But I rarely ever have everything. And so because of that, I tend to mix my pieces all the time. I tend to use old stash and bring in some new stuff. And this is my comfort zone. And so I was kind of excited to just share some of the tips that I have. So let me do that as I'm explaining what I'm doing here in the layout. I'm creating an 8.5 by 11 layout because these pictures are from 2022. And so that album is 8.5 by 11. So I started by going into my How to Kill a Kit with Style kit, which I remembered I had put a lot of older papers into it to use as backgrounds. And so this was a perfect opportunity to pull out some of that older stash. The background paper that I have is a Jen Hadfield paper. I think I think it was from 2017. Sorry. So the paper is from 2017. And then the burlap, or it's more of a canvas that I put on top of it, is I think from 2010. So it is super, super old. It's been in my stash for a really, really long time. And it's exactly the kind of thing that I look for in a background. If I'm not using a white background, I tend to look for something that is kind of neutral. It can definitely have a pattern, but something kind of neutral that I can pull out that is going to match a lot of different colors or a lot of different themes. And then that is a really kind of nice base for me to start with. So because those were both in my kit, and I always tried to kill as much of my kit as possible, I pulled them both out and figured it would be nice to kind of layer them up. And that gave me a really neutral, good base to start with. So that is my old stash. And then I went into my photos and I pulled out my photos. And from there, I was able to kind of pick some of the new stuff that I wanted to go with it. So my pictures have really strong blues and greens in them. And that kind of is what led me to the Sunshine on My Mind collection, which is basically my newest stuff that I have, apart from the super brand new Wild Whisper collection. But I knew that these colors were a good match for that Sunshine on My Mind, so I popped into that iris container and I pulled out the ephemera. And so that's kind of what I do, is if I'm going with some older papers, I definitely will try to find something a little bit new that I can add as an embellishment. And I tend to kind of do this naturally. And so if you go back and look at a lot of my layouts, I'm not intentionally thinking about grabbing old stuff and grabbing new stuff, but I kind of naturally like to do that because it's exciting to use new stuff. And so if I'm picking some older papers, it's always fun to see if you can just get one fun little new item onto each layout. And so that is sort of where my brain was going, is looking for those new fun items that matched the pictures and pulling out some of the ephemera pieces that I could use with these pictures and with that background paper. So the blues and greens from the picture led me to blues and greens in the acetate ephemera and the like paper ephemera packs that I have from that collection. But then I also knew I had some pink in that background paper. And so in this iris container, I have both the Sunshine on My Mind collection and then also the Little Things collection. So those are my two collections I'm working with from Shotz. And so I wanted to go in and grab that as well. Here you can see I'm kind of looking and I knew I had some black and white stickers, like words and phrase stickers. So I pulled those out from the Little Things collection, and just it gave me just a few extra little elements. I don't have a ton of space on this layout because it's 8.5 by 11. So I knew I didn't have to come up with a lot of different things. I just wanted a few little key pieces that I could add that matched the feeling and kind of gave me these nice little ephemera clusters. So I've got some stickers in pinks and blacks and whites. I cut this little piece of paper from the cover page of the Sunshine on My Mind collection, just so I could bring in a little bit of the blue and green onto this little cluster. And so really that's all I'm doing. I was just looking for enough stuff that each cluster was going to have some pink, some black and white, and then some blue and green. So pretty simple, and it kind of worked out nicely because there isn't a lot of that pinkish color in the Little Things collection, but there just happened to be one of the brads which I had in that kind of pinkish gingham, and so I was able to put that up at the top with my title. which says Getaway. And then there was a sticker with the gingham in that kind of pinkish color. So I was able to put that in my left-hand cluster, and then a pinkish sticker in my kind of bottom right-hand corner cluster. So just enough stuff that I was able to get those 3 clusters. I also found a few scraps of paper, and so I thought this was a good opportunity for some paper tearing. And just little pops of color. I didn't want to fully map my photos because, again, that was starting to take up a lot of space on the layout, and I didn't want to completely cover up that burlap since it's taken me so long to use it. I definitely wanted you to be able to tell that I had intentionally put some burlap paper or canvas paper back there, and I didn't want to lose it completely to pattern papers and lots of layers. So I just grabbed some of those scraps and tore them up and kind of made a little peekaboo cluster of the different colors that I was working with. So there's the pinks, there's the greens, there's the blues, and then I still felt like I needed some different types of ephemera. And so here I experimented a little bit to see how the burlap would actually take some color. I did think about doing some splatters, and then I thought, I don't know how the color is actually going to run on the burlap. And so I cut that little piece. I'm going to keep saying burlap. It's canvas. But I cut that little piece and I used some ink, and it absorbs it. So definitely there's a lot of color in there. You can see I just showed you my fingers. They are messy and I didn't let it dry. I was being impatient, but once it dries, I think it'll be totally fine. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But I just matched the blue and the green colors, and then I thought, can I punch these? No, I can't. Not with that teeny tiny punch. Probably with a bigger one, you could punch it no problem. With that teeny tiny little heart, it just wasn't going to punch through. So I hand cut those hearts. So there's a blue and a green heart. And for whatever reason, I don't know if you guys noticed it, but as soon as I put those hearts down, I just feel like suddenly the layout looked finished. I don't know what it was, but I suddenly was just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I needed to do, and now I'm really happy with it. So those little touches, I guess, sometimes just are the key that you need that makes everything kind of click into place. And so I'm just going to finish it off with some sequins, which are also new. These are the Road Trippin' sequins from July, I think, from Spiegel Mom Scraps. So I guess you can add that to the list too. I'll leave the link down below, and my discount code, which is Jen15. So you can use that next time you want to grab some sequins and save 15%. But yeah, this collection actually matches the Sunshine on My Mind collection really well. So I picked out the little peachy colored ones and green ones and kind of a navy blue one, and made a few little extra bits of, sparkle and shine in my clusters. And that's it. That is my layout. So I think it turned out super cute. I love it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please remember all of those links and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.
Mommy, she button, my channel.